Yeah, you could see me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to, I guess, live stream 2 of the People's Council. We've got a few things to discuss today. The probably most, uh, quick recap. We got some trial updates. We got Juicy Smollett and his fake hate crime going on, trial for his fake hate crime going on. We've got the Maxwell trial related to uh, he who did not kill himself. And we've got the taser cop also on trial. So all those are going on at once. So very busy time. Plus, yeah, I got a few other bits and bobs. Maybe we could talk Dexter so far. Um, did you catch up? Did you watch the most recent one?
No, I didn't catch up. I've
Oh, okay.
been sleeping as
Yeah,
much as I can.
fair enough. Well, maybe we'll say that some other time then. Yeah, so Mercedes is with us this evening. So let's start off with the Maxwell trial. I'm sure that you're familiar with Lady Ghislaine, however you choose to pronounce it.
Yeah, I've only been following a little bit. I am not nearly as ahead as you are.
No, fair enough. I don't expect many people to be following it quite as intently as I have been. It's actually surprisingly, they were planning for it to take 5 to 6 weeks, and it was day 8 today, and it looks like the prosecution might wrap up their case by the end of the week. So it's going significantly faster than anyone had anticipated.
Why do you
On
think that is?
Well, the big reason is that so there's 4 victims that they're running with on this case here, alleging that Maxwell was involved in trafficking them for the purposes of doing the hoodly canoodly with Mr. Jaff among other people. And what actually came out is that 2 of the 4 victims were actually of legal age during the time that any hanky panky might have happened. So they're technically not victims of the alleged crime. So that,
Mm,
yeah, essentially, I guess, halved the prosecution's case. All of that testimony and related witnesses and stuff like that pertaining to half the victims is gone now.
oh boy, that's one way to shorten the case.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of interesting. Like, my whole perception of what was going on with Mr. E and his island and all that kind of stuff was uh, I thought it was more like Taken. Like, have you seen Taken?
Yeah.
Way back, yeah. Like that's like hardcore, like people in cages being shipped and all that kind of stuff, and to be sold to billionaires overseas for purposes of exploitation. Yada yada yada. I thought something similar was going on with Jeffy, but it doesn't really seem so much that that was the case. Like there might be some of that, like some other high-profile people that might have done some hoodling canoodling and been recorded or something. We haven't seen any evidence of that in court so far. But what it more seems is just that he just had like a real thing for massages and enjoyed happy endings with his massages. Um, and so that really seems to be what most of the testimony that we've seen so far has been relating to. I think some of these girls were, you know, questionable ages and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's only really been 2 of them that have implied that any inappropriate business had happened before they were
Mm.
adults.
I don't know. I remember when everything first settled, after all of that, there was actually an episode pretty much playing this out in SVU, Law and Order,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where it was similar. It was the girls coming in, they were getting paid, I think it was like $200 randomly to just go into the massage room and give a massage. and come out. And then it was like this older lady that I guess was a youth at the time, or when she first got involved, and
Yeah.
now she's the older lady. And that was the whole story. And he got caught and he was stuck in jail, and he decided to end things instead of continue going on trial. So that was the conversation of that story. And
Oops. What? I didn't do any of this stuff to check.
yeah, so that was the conversation of that story. And it seemed perfectly timed to just explain away and make it just, a movie or a show instead of a real event with real people.
Well, they do that a lot. Like they have their
Yeah.
whole episode that was essentially Michael Jackson and stuff too. So when you're pumping out episodes on mass like they do,
Oh yeah,
grab it
one
from
week.
headlines and stuff is probably an easy way to kill some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just far from what I would have expected from this case. Like obviously, you would think that you expect that they'd be suppressing, the politicians and the other big names in the royal family and like their involvement in stuff. But even in terms of tying Epstein into like doing gross stuff, like the Weinstein stuff seems grosser than the Epstein stuff. So it's I don't know. Either way, it's interesting that this is going to be done significantly sooner than I thought it would. But apparently next week or something, they don't meet Monday through Wednesday. We'll meet Thursday, Friday, and then the following 2 weeks because of Christmas and stuff. I guess they're meeting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, but for some reason, there's 3 days off next week. I don't know if there's some holiday in America or something. I don't know what it would be, but
Who knows?
yeah,
Could be anything. Could be the
that's now.
judges or
Excuse me.
pre-planned holidays or something.
Yeah, who knows? Um, yeah, other one that I've been watching and actually watching more closely is the Maxwell one isn't broadcast or anything. You can't watch the streams live. There are some journalists and members of the public and stuff that have been able to go in certain like breakout rooms off of the court and stuff, and some people are allowed right in the court. Um, but there's no cameras or anything like that. So you get the folks that are furiously tweeting and getting stuff out. You're not allowed to record or anything like that. So all you get is the secondhand accounts and all that kind of stuff. But with the Potter trial, which is Kim Potter, the taser cop that pulled her service arm instead of her taser during the traffic stop. Are you familiar with that case?
Yeah, I think I watched a couple of videos or hearing a few things about it, but in all honesty, um, I have no idea where the actual legal side of it, outside of like the event, everything following, I haven't been following it.
Yeah. Well, they just started this week. They did started today actually. Was their very first day. They did jury selection and stuff last week, and then this week they hammered out some jury instruction stuff. But they actually kicked off with opening statements and having some witnesses today, and it's so essentially the prosecution's argument is that she, I guess, was being reckless and had like careless disregard for life when she drew her her firearm instead of her taser, and that she had a whole bunch of training and that she should have been aware that this was a risk that could occur and to be more careful. Essentially, was the gist of it. And the defense's argument was, hey, this was a perfectly justified traffic stop. This was a highly tense and stressful situation. there's a number of escalating factors, such as the warrant of the guy's arrest, et cetera, et cetera, and in particular the nature of the warrant that were out for him.
Yeah,
So
it almost sounds like the fact that she said taser is the reason she's going down. If she
100%.
had said nothing, she wouldn't
And,
be going down for
and
this.
just shot him, yeah, probably
Yeah.
not. She probably, and if she had a like, yeah, exactly what you said. If she had not said anything, pulled her firearm, even intended to pull her firearm, and just shot him,
Hmm.
I don't think that any charges would have been laid. It's purely because she meant to pull her taser. But what's not clear from the video, excuse me, because I've only really seen one video. Well, before today, I saw a few new videos today during the trial, but up until now, I'd only seen that one, which I believe was the actual officer. Yeah, it was Officer Potter's um, body cam footage and of the whole situation going on and her pulling the firearm out and shooting him. But you can't really see in that video that, like, yeah, the one cop is kind of wrestling with the guy on the driver's side, right, trying to get him. But what you
Hmm.
can't see is that there's another cop on the other side. Like, wait, you can kind of see that he's there, but you can't see what he's doing. At the time when all this is really popping off and she draws the weapon kind of thing, the the other cop has climbed into the car over top of the passenger and is like manipulating the gear shift of the vehicle to prevent um, the suspect, or in this case the victim, from operating the vehicle and taking off.
Mm.
So like, yeah, the like, and clearly Dante was trying to operate the vehicle and take off, because even after he had been shot, he and they all kind of back up when the car peels off down the road and like hits a curb and smokes a pole kind of thing.
Just sounds messy as a whole. There's
Oh, like what do you mean?
Oh, well, just there was a lot of factors before or before her pulling out the taser. I don't know. I wasn't there, and I trust a cop. And if we can't trust our cops to do every step possible, then why are we hiring these people to be our cops?
So you're asking if there's more that she could have done before they got to the case, to the
No,
point
I'm
of.
no, I'm wondering why we're having this discussion about something that if she followed every procedure except for the word, um, and then there was multiple cops in that, why aren't they testifying to the fact that she did every step, even if she said taser? Did every step ahead of that suggested that lethal force is included? Taser is considered lethal force, is it not?
I think it depends on the state, but we'll find out. Well, you find that anytime a taser is used improperly, the police argue it's a lethal use of force. So,
I would consider it a lethal use of force. It's an alternative lethal use of force, but it's still potential to kill anybody. You don't know if there's
yeah.
underlying health issues on a person that could cause um, uh, severe reaction to it.
Well, um, the proper way to refer to them is less lethal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not non-lethal force; it's less lethal force.
So in other
So
words,
you can
it's
still very easily die from being tased, very easily.
less lethal is the grenade wasn't that close to you, but it was still there.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I'll actually let's quickly watch the. Let's slide. Share screen. I don't want to share. Oh, yeah, perfect. Here's what you do. Gotcha, gotcha. Sorry, I appreciate your patience. Work through all this. So here is the video of the shooting, and I'll point out Oh, and your point about the other cops. Well, before we can play this, you're 100% right, and that's kind of what came out. The one of the other officers, the one that she was training that day, the one who is you'll see actually physically trying to arrest the suspect in this video here. He took the stand this afternoon, and during the course of his testimony, he was asked by the defense if he would have tased the suspect in that situation. He agreed, and he said that he would. He, in most of his testimony, was fairly supportive of the defendant. And another, what was I going to say? Yeah, all in all, he was rather supportive. And in this, I don't know if they'll continue this all the way. I didn't pre-screen this video, but there's one point where after it happens, the video from her body cam, she's saying, oh my god," like over and over and over again. She's like, I shot him. I accidentally shot him. I killed him. Oh, I'm gonna go to prison. And you couldn't see it on this, but you could see it in the other videos that they had. That the cops are like, no, you aren't. And the other one's like, yeah, I was half in the vehicle when you were trying to take off. Like, no, you're good, kind of thing. Um, but yeah, you don't see it in this. But after it happens, she's full blown like having like a panic attack. Like, excuse me, clearly very traumatized from what's happened. Like, it's like clearly she's like took no level of satisfaction or enjoyment or anything out of it. Like, it clearly upset her quite deeply.
Well, do you know if this was the first time she had ever had to shoot a gun towards a...
First time. Yeah, not the first time she shot a person. Literally the first time she ever fired her gun or taser in the line of duty.
Yeah, no wonder it's a shock.
Yeah.
The moment when 20-year-old Dante Wright was pulled over, and then ask you a question on the other side. But I just want to give a warning to our viewers before they watch. This video is disturbing. Here it is.
Okay. They have this slowed down. It's a little choppy. I don't know if that's my internet or what. Were you able to see
Megan,
that?
Just to explain this to our viewers, police.
No, they don't show anything. Really good stuff. Or I shouldn't say the good stuff, but the full context. Yeah, I'll see if I can find a better one. But yeah, so I've been watching that one in detail.
So what do you think the final result will be?
Oh, I'd be surprised if they can convict her. They got her on first and second degree manslaughter is what they're charging her with. And it's just tough to really say that she acted improperly. Like, it's not a strong legal argument, but they kind of were making it today that she would have been justified to pull out her gun and shoot him. Like, so to say that she should be punished for intending to use a less lethal kind of force is just a little bit of a difficult pill to swallow. But anytime you're going in front of a jury, you have a 10% chance you can wind up behind bars, even with the most perfect of cases.
That's fair. Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and find out how long until this trial's done.
Well, the judge seems to want to be wrapped up by Christmas Eve.
That makes sense.
He mentioned that quite a few times, so they hope to be wrapped up by the 24th.
Yikes. Get ready for holidays.
Yeah. Well, no one really wants to get to deal with jury duty and stuff during the holidays. It's a big colossal thing. It's brutal.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that. I'd rather be home with my family.
Maybe Yeah, no, I got it. Thanks. Oh, oh. Here it is. This is much better. Awesome. Okay. Here, A2, I'm promoting whoever that was, ABC or NBC, great raw. All right. I think you can't like control that stuff. But see the screen and whatever. That's it. Yeah, this video is not very long, so I'm assuming this. Yeah, they're pulling him out. They've already gone and ran all his info. And yeah, he has warrants out for arrest. Something about assault with a weapon. Threatening a woman to give him rent money or something with a gun. Yeah. So dashes back to the car. Wrestling with she threatens to tase him, pulls what she thinks is her taser. Yeah. One shot fired.
As I watched the video and listened to the officer's command,
I don't care what you think.
I believe that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet.
Okay.
So
I wish they kept
trial,
one of it. Yeah.
have they confirmed that she actually was thinking that she was pulling out her taser?
Yeah.
So she's admitted to that her goal was to pull the taser?
Her defense pretty much did. Like her lawyers pretty much did. She hasn't taken a stand or anything yet, but their position is that she intended to draw her taser, accidentally drew her service weapon, and discharged it. Another thing too is I guess like they're really gonna harp on the muscle memory, the cross draw, and all that kind of nonsense. But one thing that does definitely support her belief that she was firing her taser and not her service weapon. And I guess they're trained to fire their service weapon twice, whereas your taser you only fire it once, and she only fired once.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like maybe the prosecution is going to take the angle, depending on how some of this testimony goes, that she intentionally meant to pull her, or like she meant to pull her firearm and was pretending that it was a taser. But that doesn't seem to be what they're going for. What they're going for more so is like the argument that she was being like reckless and endangering the other officers.
See, I could almost see negligence in the fact that you don't know which gun is which. But I wouldn't say that is then murder. I would say that is negligence, and then you would aim at the town or county or whichever that was training her. That was up to the training to have them know what the difference is and have it ingrained in these people that this is a gun and this is a taser, and have that as second nature.
Yeah, in terms of like a civil case, like the family of Didnt, right, get probably a buttload of money out of the police department in the city for sure. And one thing you should be clear is that they're not going after her for murder. It's 2 different degrees of manslaughter, is my understanding. Just trying to find if I can get the definition of second-degree manslaughter in Minnesota. Pardon me?
Oh, I'm just saying more so that murder or death of another person. This isn't about the act of killing. I think it's because whether or not it was a taser or a gun, I think both options were justified. in that position. What it is the negligence of not knowing if she was pulling out her gun or her taser. And the result, either way, would have been justified. It was the fact that she didn't know which one she was doing is the issue.
Yeah.
So, like, if it was just a taser and it made sense, okay. If it was a gun, it would have made sense, okay. But it's the fact that she didn't know which one she was doing. So I would say just reckless negligence or something along those lines. And
Yeah.
then leave that open for civil court to go and say, okay, well, it was negligence, and that's due to training, and the training comes by these people, the city or the county.
Yeah, like that really seems like they should be going after it. Just sorry, I'm just trying to find out. I'm not used to this browser entirely either, so I'm seeing if I can zoom or anything. It's a little difficult to read. Yeah. That's what it is. You see that? Is that very clear? Hello?
I can't see
Oh,
anything.
you can't see anything? All
No,
right,
I
well, I'll
can
read it.
barely. I can see Minnesota statutes, and that's about it.
Okay, well, I'll read it then. So, it says, Minnesota Statute 609.205, manslaughter in the second degree. A person who causes the death of another by any of the following means is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 10 years or to payment of a fine of not more than $20,000 or both. So if they cause by any of the means, so they have to meet any of these five for manslaughter in the second. By the person's culpable negligence, whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. So this is like you're driving your car like a complete asshole, and you risk the life of your passenger. Like you get into an accident and the passenger goes. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, so that's this first one here. The next one is by shooting another with a firearm or dangerous weapon as a result of negligently believing the other to be a deer or other animal. Well, that clearly doesn't apply. I don't think she got shown right. It was the deer.
Yeah.
By setting a spring gun, a pitfall, a deadfall, a snare, or other like dangerous weapon or device. So that's a booby trap. That's like Indiana Jones level temples. Yeah, I don't think that applies either. So number 4 is by negligently or intentionally permitting any animal known by the person to have vicious propensities or to have caused great or substantial bodily harm in the past to run uncontrolled off the owner's premises or negligently failing to keep it properly confined. So,
Okay, so that also doesn't apply.
No. And then by committing or attempting to commit a violation of section 609.378, neglect or endangerment of a child, and murder in the first, second, or third degree is not committed thereby. Yeah, so this has nothing to do with a child. Yeah, so it would just be this first one then is what they got to be going for, which is by the person's culpable negligence, whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. I just have a tough time seeing how you get there based on the facts of this case.
Yeah, you don't see that at all.
Well, do you? Do you disagree that?
I can see how they can try and spin it or make an argument towards it. I mean, like you said with the vehicle, if you don't know your weapons properly, then isn't that reckless or
But
potentially reckless? But again, that is it her fault or is it her training's fault?
well, what? But I so by the person's culpable negligence, whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. So you're creating a risk and then consciously engaging in that risk, knowing that it could bring death or bodily harm.
Yeah, so it's the consciousness that she does not have.
No, that's yeah, because it's she she causes the death or bodily harm through the immediate creation of the immediate risk. I think that consciously is critical here.
Yeah.
Consciously takes chances.
Well, and she was even in the video completely unaware of what she did specifically. She thought that she was using the taser the entire moment that it went down. So is
Yeah,
that consciousness or is that subconsciously?
yeah, yeah. I don't think that you get there with that. So let's see if we can go. Let's see if we can just find. Do you remember what number that was? 609-201. I'm guessing first degree manslaughter is probably similar. Manslaughter in the first degree, 609.20. Can you still see the screen?
Yes, I can. But what are you watching in the background?
Oh, sorry. Should I turn that down? I got the Super Mario Bros. Movie from the 80s playing on the TV.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah,
all
it's
I
pretty
hear is
bad.
screaming.
Here, I can turn that down. I don't want it to be distracting from the stream. Should I?
Yeah, definitely.
Turn it
Just a little
down?
bit. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back. Good morning, Vietnam. There, we got pristine silence.
Much better. Thank you.
Well, not really, but better.
I've had enough kids screaming today. I don't
Alrighty,
need.
you with me? Good to go?
Yeah, I'm here.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still
I
here.
can't hear you.
I'm talking.
Is that a me problem? Unplug my mic? Or my headphones? Are you speaking?
No, I'm speaking now. Hello?
Who knows? Hey, let's take a crack at this anyways, and hopefully he can rejoin us. Maybe back out and come back in if you're having technical problems. Okay, yeah, no, Mercedes stepped out. She'll hopefully come back. I'll have to approve her second. Anyways, let's start reading this. We'll jump back. So, manslaughter in the first degree. Whoever does any of the following is guilty of manslaughter in the first degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 15 years or to payment of a fine of not more than $30,000 or both. Hey, you're back. Can you hear me?
I am. Do you hear me?
Oh, I can hear
Hello?
your mic working. I can't hear the audio though. That might be my problem. Keep talking.
I'm here. I can hear you. I just
I can hear
it's a you
myself.
problem.
I'm assuming. Can you try to say something? I think it's
Hi.
not working on my end. Oh, bizarre. Yeah, let's try playing. I can hear the video of the police from the dash cam video we were watching, that news footage. I don't know if I can leave. There, I brought myself back.
Is that
Start
better
talking.
now? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. What the hell? Well, that's bunk. I guess we'll just continue, I guess, or let me know in the chat if you think we should bail on to end things and try again another day. Sure. Well, here they let's finish going through first degree manslaughter and then we'll just wrap this up and call it a day. Don't want to leave them too badly with a cliffhanger. We'll save our discussion on this for another day. Yeah, for sure. Just listen real quick and we'll go through it. So, whoever does any of the following is guilty of manslaughter in the first degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 15 years or to payment of a fine of not more than $30,000 or both. So, whoever does any, so again, one out of these five, it seems. So, intentionally causes the death of another person in the heat of passion, provoked by such words or acts of another as would provoke a person of ordinary self-control under like circumstances, provided that the crying of a child does not constitute provocation. No, intentionally cause the death of another person in the heat of passion, provoked by words, I would say so. Violate sections 1924 and cause the death of another, or cause the death of another committing a misdemeanor, gross misdemeanor offense with such force and violence that death of or great bodily harm to any person was reasonably foreseeable, and murder in the first or second degree was not committed thereby. That maybe I have to go and read what 602224 is. Intentionally causes the death of another person because the actor is coerced by threats made by someone other than the actor's conspirator, and which causes the actor reasonably to believe that the act performed by the actor is the only means of preventing imminent death to the actor or another. 4. Approximately causes the death of another without intent to cause death by directly or indirectly, unlawfully selling, giving away, bartering, delivering, exchanging, distributing, or administering a controlled substance. Cause the death of another in committing or attempting to commit a violation of section 609-377, malicious punishment of a child, and murder in the first, second, or third degree is not committed thereby. As used in this section, a person of ordinary self-control does not include a person under the influence of intoxicants or a controlled substance. Interesting. Someone must have tried to get out of the charge by arguing that the standard of reasonability included where you were at if you were drunk or high. Probably their strongest one would be 2. Read a little bit more into it. But yeah, not selling drugs, not killing someone because of a threat, nothing involving a child, and wasn't provoked due to threats or insults. So, anyways, it was a pleasure. We had a bit of a brief conversation here, a little under 40 minutes, but we'll wrap things up for tonight and maybe resume tomorrow. Be a little bit more on time, and yeah, I'll have a little bit more research done ahead of time. We're all figuring out the technical bits and bobs as we go. So appreciate y'all joining this evening. All 3 spam bots we got, but regardless, we appreciate you. So take care. Have a wonderful night. Bye.